Hey everyone, welcome back to the South Metro Fire Rescue PIO vlog. This is Brian, he's our new PIO. He replaced Lauren after she moved on to sunny California to be a PIO out there. Brian, can you tell me a little bit about your background for our YouTube family?
Hey, I'm a native of Colorado. I've been living here in Denver for the last 23 years, born and raised in Colorado Springs. Spent 15 years at 9 News. A lot of times you'll see me on the sidelines of the Broncos. Last 12 years I worked for the Broncos on game day, doing sideline video and post-game interviews, so haven't missed a Bronco game in 12 years.
That's awesome. And what did you do at 9 News?
9 News as a photojournalist, multimedia journalist, and by the time I left I was a news production manager. But really I was chasing fires and chasing breaking news. Just had to stay on the other side of the fire lines.
Our photojournalist Brian Willie has been out there every day since the weekend when this fire started. You grew up there, so you know the lay of the land down there. And to see what you saw last night, how are you doing today?
You know, I'm doing okay. We have to do this. We have to report the news, and there's people outside or at home right now and with friends and family that need to know what's going on, so it's important for us to be able to do the job.
Now, off to the left of the balloon, you could see some of the video cameras there, and one of those belongs to our own Brian Willie, who we can go now to on the phone. Brian, what are you seeing on the ground there next to the balloon?
Well, I've got some information that I'm not quite sure how to say it, but I don't believe that they found anybody with this balloon. They backed off. They've punctured holes in it to make it non-flyable at this point. But there's no basket, and they're not pulling anybody out of it at this point. They are still looking. Sorry, I'm a little bit out of breath. I had to run into a dirt field, which was the best landing for it.
The house is okay. It's unbelievable. It's beautiful. Actually, if it wasn't so devastating, it is beautiful.
That's Tom White there, and as beautiful as he thinks it is, we're really hoping that he does have a house to go home to. I just talked to him a little bit ago, and he still has no word.
You won some awards doing that, didn't you?
A couple 5-time Emmy Award winner, 9-time Telly Award winner, a couple MPPA Station of the Year with 9 News. So, yeah, I've been fortunate in what I've been able to accomplish and been awarded by my peers.
Just a 5-time Emmy Award winner, guys. No big deal at all. Well, you two might be wondering what we're doing driving. So we have been under a crazy cold snap. It's Tuesday morning that we're recording this right now. The temperature fell below 0 on Friday evening, and we've been under a wind chill warning ever since then. The wind chills dipped down to like negative 35 degrees. Our crews have been very, very busy responding to a bunch of calls, especially those related to burst pipes, water flow alarms. We had a few structure fires. And speaking of structure fires, I'm going to take you guys back to December 23rd when we had a working commercial structure fire on South Alton Way.
Tower 34, Engine 33, Tower 32, Medic 33, District 1, Safety 35, Channel SMS Ops 3, reported commercial structure fire, map page T29, C7332, South Alton Way.
District 1, we're getting the response filled, but just additional, the RP is confirming that the fire is spreading. Your winds are going to be calm.
Okay, copy.
Tower 35, Engine 31, Engine 44, Medic 34, Battalion Chief 3, confirmed commercial structure fire, map page T29, C7332, South Alton Way.
Patient with smoke inhalation.
61 Adam, I got a fully involved office building. Come over this way, let's get away from the building that's on fire. Is there anybody inside? No. Is this your office? Okay.
Okay, we do have a working fire.
Okay. Do you have your ID on you by chance?
Medic.
Copy. You have a working fire. We'll start an additional medic.
Were you staying in the office?
Well, we're going to have tight access in here. Have all units when they come in that are level 1. Have them stage on Alton. Level 1 stage on Alton.
Engine 33, I got you on scene of a small single-story commercial structure. You do have a working fire. You'll be pulling an engine 3/4 to the front alpha side for fire attack. You'll be in command. at 319. Break medic 34, dispatch on 3.
District 1. Go ahead. I'll take it from here. I say you see you're stretching an inch and 3/4 for fire attack on the alpha side. Break dispatch from District 1.
District 1.
Pretty assuming can't command, I'll be located on what we'll call the Bravo side of the structure. Stand by dispatch. Tower 34, if you want to pull up right here, you're going to have this alleyway. Try to leave this alleyway open, but access for the roof.
Copy, leaving the alleyway open for access to the roof.
Command, Med 1 is on scene. Med 1, will you come up to my vehicle? I think our patient's going to be right here. I'm located between 33s and 34s on the Bravo side. Copy, I'm coming to your vehicle.
Command dispatch.
Go ahead.
Command, Excel, Gas, and Electric have been notified ETA of 45 for both. And just be advised, the only vehicle that was not added to the complement was Rescue 34, so you don't have them coming.
Okay, that's fine. Break Tower 34 from command.
Command, 33.
Go ahead.
You have fire. Fire stuff?
Thank you, Dave. In no basement. It looks like it just contains that one unit for right now.
Copy. I need you to, get that 360, and then I'm also going to need you to find the best outside engine from the north side for a water supply. If you can help try to navigate that one. They cannot come this way because we're 5-inch across the road.
Copy. I got that 360 in for you, and I'll just find back access for next digit coming in from the north.
Command, Medic 34 is on scene. Copy, Medic 34. He'll come up with engine 33 for fire attack. Copy, fire attack 33.
Command Tower 32, we're on scene, coming in from the north. What do you need?
Standby 1. Medic 34, apologize. You're going to have patient care if you meet up with Med 1. Medic 34, you'll have patient care with Med 1.
Command dispatch, your 10 minutes, took your 10 minutes.
Copy, 10 minutes. We're still in the office. It's ready. Tower 32, is that you to the north?
Hey, sir.
Fantastic. Will you help 33s with water supply? That hydrant should be right by you.
Command 34 Bravo, roof report. You ready?
34 Bravo, go with your roof report.
Flat rubber membrane, stable roof, normal HVAC load. I'd like to make access to further test.
So thankfully at this commercial fire, the person who had smoke inhalation didn't need to be transported to the hospital. They were okay, and our fire investigators determined that the cause was accidental. That person left candles burning before they laid down to take a nap. So it's a good reminder for everybody to make sure that you never leave any kind of an open flame or appliances on before you go to bed at night, and certainly try and keep anything that can burn, like candles, at least 3 feet away from things that are combustible so that you don't have a fire. Brian came on with us last week, and we have been very, very busy ever since. You may have seen our latest YouTube video, and if you haven't, we'll link it up above. It was an electric vehicle fire that South Metro responded to in Centennial. Here's a view from Battalion Chief 5 that you haven't seen yet. This is from his dash camera watching Engine 22 do the initial fire attack. You can see that the garage door is closed, and the firefighters are doing everything they can to prevent that fire in the garage from spreading to the rest of the house. What's really significant about this incident is it's the first time that South Metro has employed the use of our EV fire blanket. Fires aren't the only problems that South Metro firefighters have to deal with, and on a day like today, water is the big issue, and the firefighters are busy responding to a ton of water emergencies. Brian Brian was able to capture some key moments of that on video that we'll share with you.
While the firefighters were not only mopping up some of the flooded apartments, they were also able to rescue a dog that was stuck in one of these flooded apartments and relocate this poor pup to another dry location.
RP is reporting closet in room 103, a large pipe has burst. They're unable to shut off the water.
On the morning of January 16th, after nearly 100 straight hours of below freezing temperatures, South Metro firefighters continued responding to water emergencies across our fire district.
Channel SMS off 7, water flow alarm.
At this incident in Centennial, firefighters initially responded to a sprinkler alarm activation early in the morning and returned hours later when the domestic water line broke and flooded apartments.
I noticed some water coming through my baseboard in my house, and the fire alarm's been going off since about 6 o'clock. It's about 9:30, something 10 o'clock right now. And I came outside and there was water spraying out from the fire riser cabinet.
In that time, there's been over 102 water-related incidents and 158 fire alarm activations. At this apartment in Centennial, residents left for the day and everything was fine. Hours later, when South Metro firefighters gained access to the unit, they found 4 inches of standing water and a very scared dog. Firefighters rescued that dog, who was happy to see them, and took him to a neighboring unit where he could stay warm. Many of those fire alarm activations are related to water emergencies or system malfunctions due to the cold. When fire sprinkler lines break, the alarm company automatically notifies firefighters to respond, and they do so to investigate and confirm that a fire is not occurring. In many of these cases, firefighters arrive and see water flowing from the front of the building and immediately shut it off to mitigate as much property damage as they can. In other examples, South Metro firefighters have been responding to domestic water line breaks inside of residents and water main breaks in the street. So I'm standing in front of one of 2 squad units that South Metro put in service for today, knowing that the call volume would be quite large. The squad units are staffed today by a captain and a fire medic. They're using reserve battalion chief vehicles to respond to calls across the district. In this case, we're in downtown Littleton at the scene of a sprinkler line that broke, and the squad unit responded in place of a fire engine, allowing that fire engine to stay in service for higher priority emergencies. As temperature continues to rise, we continue to see an increase in call volume, and it's important for property owners or property management to be familiar with where the water shutoff valves are located, so that if the worst happens and you detect a leak, you can shut the water off immediately. Now for an apparatus update. Hazmat 38 is out at Fleet getting upfitted, but before it got there, our hazardous materials team personnel had to do a final inspection up at the SVI facility. The SVI communications team was kind enough to capture a behind-the-scenes look of how Hazmat 38 was made and an interview with Captain Chris Wells describing how the new vehicle will function.
My name is Chris Wells. I'm a captain with South Metro Fire. I'm one of the 2 coordinators that runs the Hazmat team. As you can see, this is a beautiful truck. It took about 2 years of build time from the time that we decided that this was the truck we wanted to go with, and it is replacing a hazmat vehicle that we have currently at Station 38 that's over 20 years old. We felt that we needed to make the change because the vehicle that we currently operate with did not meet the needs that we had. We're going to do a walk around of all of the facets that go into this truck so that you can understand what upgrades we got and why those were important. But most importantly, we want to be able to respond to hazmat calls. And again, hazmat is hazardous materials. I'll use that term quite a bit. Hazardous materials can be anything from a fuel spill to a poisonous gas, anything that could potentially hurt or harm people or the environment. The second that the call rolls out, we want to start all of our capabilities as we're driving to the call so that when we arrive on scene, we're ready to go. The current truck that we have was about a 30-minute load time from the time that we actually made it to the scene. It took us about 30 minutes to get everything turned on and to operate and get our computers up and running. With this new apparatus, we have in-motion Wi-Fi, so all of that works seamlessly the second we leave the station. Our current apparatus that we have all 4 firefighters have to travel in the cab area. This particular truck has a commercial chassis that will seat the driver and the officer. The 2 firefighters are actually in the back at a computer. They can actually do our plume modeling, which if there was a release, we can actually get real time on when this gas is releasing, how big of an area it will affect, and based on the wind and the weather, where that plume is going to go. So we can actually feed that information to those crews and those law enforcement officers that may already be on scene so that we can start immediate evacuations. This is our mobile command center. We run basically an office out of here, and they're communicating with all the firefighters that are downrange and working the problem. So this serves as a mobile office building where we can set up an office, and we have cameras in there, we have lights, the ability to suit up our firefighters in their protective gear in a climate controlled environment so that we can do this efficiently, fast, but we're safe as well. These are not cheap apparatus, but we've waited 20 years to get a new one to fill its spot, and it meets the need of what we have in our industry and what we have in our district. Money well spent for sure. And we're really excited to get this thing going because ultimately it provides a better service to the community and it keeps our citizens and our firefighters safe. If we were to buy this truck today, we're looking at about $1.2 to $1.3 million. We were able to understand that we had the need, and we basically knew that prices were going up, so we were able to get this truck for $747,000. Part of our planning process with the fire district is we have a long-range plan on apparatus that continually need to be cycled through. The way it works on our frontline apparatus is they're frontline for a set number of years. Once they've meet that threshold, they get bumped into what we call reserve status. We switch into those units when we have mechanical problems or we need general service for those vehicles. Then when they reach end of life after a certain amount of years, they get rotated out. As part of that cycle through, we also have a chart that basically shows where we need to purchase our new vehicles 10 years in advance. The idea is we're spreading out the costs over a long period of time so that we can maximize our costs, and then we can keep costs down too when we buy in bulk. So anytime we can buy ambulances, fire trucks, more than one, and we can set our specifications, it keeps the cost down, but we keep our quality high. Because of the nature of the fire service, we can never say it runs X amount of calls a day because it varies depending on what the problem nature is. One thing that we talk about is every structure fire that we go to is a hazardous materials call. Now that we have lithium-ion batteries, those are considered hazardous materials. When we have fuel spills, when we have gas leaks, anytime that we have something that's going into the environment, whether it be the ground, the air, or the water, those consist of hazmat calls. So generally, we're probably looking between 10 and 20 calls per month with this specialized piece of equipment. But that was another reason why we bought this specialized piece of equipment, because we see those types of calls growing and the call volume going up significantly over the next 10 years. So we really wanted to get something that was well built, well designed, and met our needs, because we see with the technology and the types of hazards that are out there, we'll probably see double in the amount of times that this particular vehicle is going to respond in a month. So we have 287 square miles inside of our response area, and we have 30 stations, and we cover 3 different counties. That's a large area to cover, and we also help out other municipalities and special districts around us, specifically with hazmat, because this is a very specialized piece of equipment, and we have very specialized individuals that train for this. So not only are we helping our own community, but we're helping the metro area as well. And the way we always like to look at this is not South Metro's fire truck. This is not our fire truck on the hazmat team. The citizens own this truck. So we did our due diligence to make sure that We spent the time, the energy, and we did our research to make sure that when we did buy this truck, it was going to last us at least 20 years. And we tried to make sure that we set ourselves up so as technology evolves and increases, that this vehicle is capable of keeping up with that type of technology. And I think the technology is really second to none. And the price point that we got it at doesn't exist anymore. We did our homework to make sure that this is going to meet our needs into the future. This process takes quite a while from start to fruition. When we first started this process, it was over 2 years ago, and we sat down with several members of our Hazmat team, our fleet services division, our finance, and our special operations chief. And what we did is we defined our objective, what we wanted to have, and then we started the bid process. So we had to go out to several different manufacturers to find out if they could create the product that we were looking for. We wanted to make sure that we were being diligent with the money that we were spending and also getting a quality product. So that alone took several weeks just to go through the bid process to find a manufacturer that we felt would be able to deliver the product that we wanted. So we chose SVI. They're a local company. They do a fantastic job. They've worked with us ever since then. Then we started the design process, and that was probably the most lengthy portion of this whole thing from South Metro side, because we had to go through every little detail of this truck to make sure that it was going to be exactly what we wanted. Then the designers at SVI and our representative that was our liaison that worked with us every day, anytime we picked up the phone, we're able to answer our questions. And then the SVI design team went to work, and they took our ideas that we had basically drawn and worked through on computer imaging, and they brought it to life. And they were able to fabricate things, detail and customize to exactly what we wanted. And we were able to see those pictures on SVI's website every day, just so we had an idea of how the product was going, how the design was going, and if they had any questions or concerns, they would call us. We'd get back together with our committee, we'd work through it, and we continued through this process. So we saw it from where the chassis was delivered all the way to where we just had scrap metal before fabrication. So we're here today, we're at the final review where we've gone through from the front of the truck all the way to the back, exterior and interior, and now we're ready to make those final touches before we put decals on this truck and make it ours. It'll be on the road in less than a month.
Brian and I are getting ready to pull back into fire headquarters. So we're gonna go inside and do some work, download this video, and give you some patch shoutouts. All right, back in the office now. It's time for our patch shoutouts. The first one that I have actually comes to us from South Metro, and this is the new South Metro Tech Services patch. The second one comes to us from New York. This one is, I hope I'm pronouncing it right, Yap Hank Fire Department.
That is an awesome patch right there.
That is really cool. I like the colors.
He's jacked.
We have another patch from Germany, and I'm not going to shout it out this time because I don't want to mess it up. So when we can find Chief Petracek in the next vlog, he will shout that one out. So if you sent one from Germany, don't worry. We got it. We just want to make sure that it's properly pronounced in the next vlog.
And I've got one from Canada, Greater Napanee Fire Department right here from Ontario, Canada. And then I've got one here from Charleston, South Carolina, and this one means a lot because I was actually visiting the fire station in Charleston, South Carolina when I got the call for the job, which leads me to this one, which is the most important one in my life right now, which is our PIO patch right here at South Metro Fire, and I am so excited to be a part of it and be able to wear this patch.
We've got a short supply of those, so we're going to be saving them for special giveaways or gifts later on in the year, so stay tuned for those. We really appreciate you watching the vlog, and please leave us your comments and suggestions for future videos, and Brian and I will see you in the next one.